Stop. Go.
I don't know how to say that they robbed these girls of a chance to compete in the IHSAA. So whatever politics they had, what they didn't have was the faces of these girls.
You can definitely see by looking at the girls' room that wrestling has had an impact on them.
The girls just take it on the chin and they move on. And in 20 years, will it matter? Their kids are not going to walk down their parents' high school and see their picture or their plaque hanging up.
Everybody for showing up to the first ever sanctioned PHH Arabians Girls Wrestling Duel.
But you don't quit because you're there for some kind of purpose.
1, 2, 3, Lady Warriors! 4, 5, 6, Champs!
Because they put themselves in the hard spot, you know? They're the kids that are chasing the hard things, and that will carve out this amazing human being in them.
Being a girl in a boy-dominant sport.
Trimming. Yep.
Just something that I liked when I was little. The boys would underestimate me, like, oh, it's just a girl. It's going to be an easy match. And then when I go out there and I beat them, they're upset and their teammates are teasing them for getting beat by a girl.
And the girls came to us one day and said, hey, we want to wrestle. I mean, I was all about it. I never seen an issue with girls competing with boys. The drive and the work ethic and everything it brings to them as an adult and real life practices, I wouldn't pass it up for anything.
Maybe people think a girl wrestler could never be as good as a boy wrestler. But since I went out there and whooped up on a bunch of boys, it definitely changed the perspective. With them sanctioning girls wrestling builds onto the fact that girls can do the same thing as a boy.
I'm still kind of torn if we were ready to sanction. You know, if you compare numbers from other states when they sanctioned it, our numbers weren't as high as like Iowa or California or Texas. But just seeing the amount of girls that have been out wrestling this year, them sanctioning it did help. I think the elite wrestlers from Indiana has been because they've been competing with boys and they have those practice partners.
I'm about 26 minutes away.
Oh, okay. Cool.
How it got started was my senior year, they started a soccer team. Even though I was a farm girl and I'd been in marching band, I couldn't run 2 laps around the soccer field. It was a rough go for me. And my goal was to join the Navy. Towards the end of the soccer season, the coach was asking us seniors what our plans were. And I told him I wanted to join the Navy, and he just off the cuff said, well, you should join wrestling. I'm the new wrestling coach. And I was instantly terrified, because this was the 90s.
Girl,
My uncles all wrestled.
Oh no. How are we gonna defend this?
I don't know.
You gotta pick me up.
I just didn't think it was gonna go over well. And it was rough. It was rough. It was the hardest thing that I ever did. So wrestling right off the bat taught me humility. Because you're going out there, you're not very good, you're getting beat, and you look horrible. And so when you're just getting murdered by these grown men, because let's face it, these are the studs, the 170-pounders. At Northview, I had the record for the fastest pin. I was pinned in 6 seconds. So that pretty much could tell you my high school career.
Because if your aspirations are to win.
When I wrestled these girls, I thought, holy cow. So this is what it's like to wrestle in your sport. because I wasn't wrestling in my sport. I was wrestling on a boys team. How many freshmen and sophomores we have in here? And I feel blessed that early on in my life, I had experienced coaches that would make their kids forfeit, or boys that would spit in my water, or even some guys on my team that were not super kind. They don't understand what you're going through. I could choose to be offended and make that a big deal. Or I could look at my wrestling partners that made a positive impact and the coaches that were so kind to me. And that's why wrestling carved me the way that it did.
But I don't know how to coach football or basketball or anything like that. I know wrestling.
Get it lined up just right or it won't snap on.
So I love coaching the girls, and being able to coach my daughter is kind of like the icing on the cake. Girls that actually get out there and showcase, I think they do the sport justice because people can actually see that they are really skilled wrestlers. They're not just out there flopping around. They really know the technique. They know what they're doing. And some of them are out there dominating boys.
Historic evening here at Warren Central High School. Tonight marks the first official home dual meet for the Warren Central Girls Wrestling Team as a sanctioned IHSAA sport.
It always seemed like girls wrestling was like a sideshow. We think it was a girls tournament. It's like, oh, by the way, there's a boys tournament and you guys are there also on these mats off to the side. So I never really liked that because it's like, no, my girls want to be the focal point. They don't want to be an afterthought or the sideshow. They feel like their wrestling is just as important as boys wrestling.
Get off skip, get off skip.
Everybody's going to know that girls wrestle.
On mat number 3, Heather Crowell has punched her ticket to Indianapolis once again.
I think every time I stepped on a mat, especially if it was just one mat for finals, that everyone was looking at me. But I've kind of just shrug off. If people are watching me, it doesn't really matter because it's just me out there.
Keep him down.
They're wrestling, they have to be on point. They can't slack off on their technique. They can't slack off on position.
So when I'm thinking about it in my match, it's like the next position is all that matters. The ones in the past don't matter anymore.
Whether it's her or, anybody else, it helps the sport. It kind of opens eyes to the underdog, people that they think that can't do something. She's made them see that it is capable of accomplishing anything.
I do think that Indian wrestling needs a girl wrestler like me. I think we need a lot more of them. Just kind of pave the way for young wrestlers and show how much you can accomplish as a girl.